Alright, cool, we live. Yeah, what's poppin', y'all? What's up? Welcome to my new channel, Grew Up Inside. You know what I'm saying? And today is actually going to be a special day because this is the first episode to my new channel. And the reason why I named this channel Grew Up Inside is because it's going to basically focus on the juveniles of our society today and the juvenile system and how broken it is, you know what I'm saying? And not only as a whole for the whole US, but in more specifically Pennsylvania, which is where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? I'm from a small town outside the capital of Pennsylvania, York, Pennsylvania. You know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up there. You know, now I currently live in California. You know what I'm saying? Palm trees and umbrella drinks. But yeah, you know, the focus of this channel is going to be to bring awareness how broken the juvenile system actually is. You know what I'm saying? Because our youth is our future. You feel what I'm saying? And our youth should be the ones that are being molded, if you will, for lack of better terms, molded into like better and more productive citizens of society. Excuse me. But instead, you know, there's actually, believe it or not, a lot of violence. You know what I'm saying? There's abuse. There's a lot of abuse that comes from not the other residents, inmates. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking about the staff members, the ones that are supposed to be there for you, keep you safe, you know, teach you developmental skills for life and how to further yourself, make bank accounts and do this and do that. And they don't focus on none of that. You know, basically, you know, once you land and you do something as a juvenile, you know, and your mom or dad, they say, you know, we don't want him, take him. You know, you end up in these camps and you're with a bunch of people, you know, they just throw you in there like sardines, and then they send you to a classroom, you know what I'm saying? So you go to school, but it's one teacher for every subject, which is how many my main subjects of school? What? Math, reading, science, language arts, and I know I'm missing one, but I think there's 5 major subjects, you know what I'm saying? And they have one teacher for every subject, you know, and basically what they do is they give you a packet that has a bunch of worksheets on it, and they do maybe 15 to 20 minutes of talking in the front of the freaking class, you know, on their little whiteboards or whatever, and that's it. You go to school a couple hours a day, and then they throw you back into these day rooms, these pods, you know. And, you know, this is kids I'm talking about. You know, you could be 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, and just think about that. You know, your little brother, your little sister, you know, 14 years old, getting thrown into this juvenile facility, which is basically one step under the bang, one step under jail, you know, because I've been to both. So, you know, when you look at a juvenile facility, you know, in these day rooms, in these pods, these wings, whatever you want to call them, and then you look at the adults, it's not very much of a difference. You see what I'm saying? And basically, these juvenile camps are just preparing us for when we go to prison, when we go upstate, you know. The staff members, they abuse us mentally, verbally, physically, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I probably went through more abuse while being locked up as a juvenile than I did on the street. But then again, you know, I don't really have that much time on the street, which is, you know, another reason why my channel is going to be called Grew Up Inside, because, you know, I basically, you know, I grew up inside, you know. My very first time ever getting in trouble, I was 14 years old. Just turned 14, you know. I was a fresh 14, honestly. I think, I want to say the summer of 2004. I'd say the summer of 2004. I was at home, you know, and I was asleep, and, you know, I hear my cousin yelling up to my second story window, you know, and I get up, you know, so I goes to see who it is. I lean out the window. It's my cousin. So I'm like, oh shit, what up, cuz? You know? And he has someone with him, a guy that I don't know. I never met him before, you know. And I let them in, you know what I'm saying? I let them in. They came upstairs and, you know, we're just chilling. And come to find out, my cousin, the reason why he brought this guy to me, just so happened they were looking to buy some marijuana, you know, some weed. And excuse me. And so sorry. So my cousin, he came to me, you know, because he knew I was kind of about that life at that time. He really wasn't, you know, he just started getting his feet wet. But as far as like getting in trouble and stuff like that, like I've been getting in trouble since I can remember, you know, since kindergarten. And you know, I've been in and out of trouble my whole life, you know. But I can say that, and I'm proud to say that, you know, I've been free and clear from the system now for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? 4 long, strong years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah. Where was I? But not to get off track too much. I'll get back to this. My introduction, you know. And so yeah, my cousin came, yelled at me. I left them in. Come to find out, they were looking to get some weed, you know. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I got you. I know where to get some weed at, you know. And while we're in the midst of sitting there having this conversation about getting some weed, this kid, I'm not going to mention his name, you know what I'm saying, but if he's watching, he's going to know who he is, you know. This kid, he mentions to me, he says, yo, I know where there's a car parked that just got the keys in it every single day, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, word? So, you know, at the time, you know, I was getting in a lot of trouble, you know. I thought I was a badass and I was ready to do whatever to, you know, look cool, look tough, fit in. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's take it, you know? So from my house to where the car was, I say it was probably like 2.5 to 3 mile walk, you know, away. And so we're walking. We leave my house. I get dressed. Boom, we walk. We leave. And we're walking down the street. And on the way to where we were trying to go to get this car, there's actually a bridge. A bridge that connects both towns. One town is called Columbia. One town is called Wrightsville. It's in Lancaster County, which is a small city outside Philadelphia. For those that don't know, you know what I'm saying? And there's a bridge. It's a 1 mile long bridge. You know, everyone knows about this bridge that's from that area. And so I'm like, man, I'm not trying to walk across this bridge, you know? So I looks to the left and I see 3 bikes. 3 bikes, dog, you know, and we're kids, and I'm like, yo, hey, let's take the bikes, you know? Let's take the bikes. So freaking, we hop on the, over the fence. We hop over the fence, run through the yard, grab the bikes, go back, and start riding these bikes. So here we are, these like 13, 14-year-old kids, you know what I'm saying? Riding on these little like 10-inch, 12-inch pink and purple little bikes that we had training wheels. Mine had training wheels on it, so I bent the training wheels out. So my training wheels were facing either direction while I'm, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so, excuse me. So we ride the bikes, you know, we steal the bikes and drive across the bridge, you know, and we get to the spot. You know, I'd say probably 30, 40 minutes later, we get to the spot. And when we get there, my cousin, he kind of starts acting like a little bit flaky, you know what I'm saying? Like, cuz, I don't know if I want to do it, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, me being me, and as a tough, know-it-all 14-year-old, you know, I get to calling him all types of B's and Pete, pussies, and all that, you know? And I peer pressured him. I peer pressured him into doing it. But the way that I did it was, I told him, I said, listen, You, cuz, and you go wait in the alleyway. You know what I'm saying? Go wait in the alleyway, and then I am gonna go and I'll take the car, I'll pull around to the alleyway, and I'll pick y'all up. We go do what we do. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh yeah, shit, cool, let's do it. You know? Obviously they was gonna go with it. They weren't the one that was gonna jump in the car and take it. You know what I mean? So they go to the back alleyway, you know, and they're sitting over there, and I'm actually now at this point, before I go to get in the car, because mind you, I haven't done nothing this serious yet. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done nothing this serious before, and you know, this was my first time actually committing a crime that I knew for a fact if I get caught, you know, that's it. That's gonna be my ass, and I'm gonna go to YERRRO, which is the name of the detention center in the city I was living in at the time, you know? So I get to thinking about it, you know? So I'm standing there for like 3 minutes in the bushes, amping myself up. Excuse me. Amping myself up. So I said, F it. Now, pew, ran over, hop in the driver's side, turn it on, throw it in gear, and just take off. Skirt! And it was a Geo, I'd say probably like a 2011, 2010 Geo Tracker, Jeep Geo Tracker, like the worst Jeep you can get. You know what I'm saying? Like the most unpowerful, wackest Jeep you can find, you know? So, but we're kids, you know? We thought we was the shit, you know? We thought we was cool. So, you know, I takes it, I go and I pick them up. You know what I mean? I'm in the middle of the alleyway now, and the guy that my cousin brought, you know what I'm saying, he hops in, and then my cousin hops in. So I take off, skirt. I get to the end of the alleyway, and as I'm pulling out the alleyway, we look to the right, and we see my uncle. You know, I'm not gonna say no names, but he knows who he is. We see my uncle, and we thought we were busted. We were like, yo. I came up with a plan real quick. I'm like, hey, yo, what up, uncle? You know, my friend's dad let us use the car, and blah 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 blah. He's like, oh, I ain't gonna say nothing, Neff. I'm drunk. You know, hold up a 12-pack. Just came from the bar. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. This guy's walking from the bar drunk, you know, and he's like, I ain't gonna say nothing. So my cousin gets scared, and he panics and he hops out. You know, so I'm like, man, whatever, yo. Come on, dog. We out. To the other kid, I'm like, we out. Boom. He closed the door. We pull off. Skrr. You know what I'm saying? So we're like two 14-year-old kids. Barely can see over the steering wheel. You know, we're like, stretching necks to see and shit. So we're driving and just like wilding out, you know? We just wilding out. We doing burnouts and stuff like that. So just, you know, being crazy kids, stealing cars. So we're doing donuts and stuff, and the kid is like, yo, let's go pick someone up. And I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, I don't know, you know? So I'm like, hey, I got someone. So we drove this stolen car, 9 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying, to my cousin's house. My other cousin, my older cousin. So we pull up, and I get him out of bed. You know, he was in bed, obviously. This is still like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? On a weekend, I think, during the summer, you know. And my cuz gets up, comes outside, and I'm like, yo, I got this stolen car, dog. Let's go. You know, he's like, what the F bleep, you know? And he got mad at me, you know, and I couldn't figure out why at the time. But, you know, I was just a dumb and young kid, you know, 14 years old. Bugging out, you know, and now if one of my little cousins were to bring me, you know, a stolen car or something like that, I'd be very angry, you know, especially if he brought it to my dad's house where I was staying at, you know. So I can understand, you know, why he was mad and stuff, you know what I'm saying, but at the time I didn't know. So he's like, you know, get this fat bleep car out of here, you know. So I'm like, all right, and I hop in and we leave, you know, and we're just doing joyriding, you know, doing burnouts, driving. So we leave the town that we actually stole the car in. We leave that town, drive back across the bridge to the other town, you know what I'm saying? So we leave Wrightsville and drive to Columbia. I'm sorry, excuse me, Columbia. So we're driving around, and he wants to drive. He's telling me, yo, let me drive. I'm thinking in my head, man, I stole it. You know, I stole the car. Why should I let this fool drive? You know what I'm saying? But, so I pulls over and I let him drive, right? So he hops in. We start driving, boom, and I'm telling you, no longer than 5 minutes. I swear, 5-10 minutes. 10 at the most maximum. The most maximum amount of time would be 10 minutes later. But I would say like 5 minutes. This dude pulls up to a restaurant. And as soon as he goes to the stop sign, he's like this over the wheel. And a cop comes driving by. And as he's driving by, he looks at us. Soon as he gets a little bit past, there's some bushes right there on the corner that he can't, there's a blind spot, he can't see us, but I can see the lights on top of his car. He flicks them on. Soon as he flicks them on, I'm like, yo, I'm out. And the kid's like, nah, don't. I'm like, man, you know, I'm out. So I undo my seatbelt, hop out the car, and pew! I start running across the parking lot of this gas station we're in. I think it was like a Sunoco or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I start running through this parking lot, and I get to the other side, and I hop the fence. The cop, I don't think, seen me run, but he knew there was two in there because when he drove by, he seen us. But he didn't see which way I went. You know what I'm saying? So I hop the fence, and I start running. And mind you, the part of town that we're in is like all the way, literally, completely on the other side of town from where my house actually was. So I'm running, you know, and I don't really know this part of town, so I come to a dead end. Yeah, a dead end. So I get to a dead end, and there's a big cornfield right there. So I'm like, damn, yo. And I turn around, and I start walking, you know, and I'm sweaty from running and shit. And then when I'm walking, a cop comes driving straight towards me because, you know, they had a lot of cops out crawling the area and patrolling the area to try and find me because obviously as soon as the cop got in the car, the dude blabbed it. Oh, hey, he ran that way. Blah, 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 blah. You know, started singing like a bird, you know what I'm saying? How they always do. You know, I don't care if we were kids. Like, everyone knows not to tattletale. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone knows. Like, everyone hates a tattletale. But anyways, the cop stops me. So he's like, yo, you, come here. I'm like, dang, man, here we go. So I start thinking quick. You know what I'm saying? I start thinking quick, and he asked me my name. So I'm like, yo, my name's Tyler. Tyler Blank, and I gave him my last name, you know what I'm saying? Which actually wasn't my name, it was my little brother's name. So I gave him my little brother's name. He's like, so why are you all sweaty? Like, you look like you were just running. I'm like, nah, I was actually just at my grandmother's house. I just got done cutting her grass. That's why I'm all sweaty, and there's grass on my shoes and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, what's her phone number there? So quick, I gave him my grandma's actual phone number. You know, I ran down the number real quick, and he's like, oh, so where she live? And I'm like, I look over my shoulder, I'm like, right down there, you know, and I point to a house. And he's like, you know, I'm gonna let you go, but I find out you lying, it's gonna be worse. I'm like, nah, I'm not lying, you know, I'm not lying. So boom, somehow, by a miracle, like my guardian angel was watching over me or something, man, because somehow he let me go. And I don't know how he let me go, dog, but yo, he let me go, you know? So I'm like, oh my God. So as soon as he gets in his car and goes to the end of the block to make a U-turn, because like I said, remember it was a dead end. As soon as he does that, I'm walking, and as soon as I bend the corner, ping, I start booking it. And I'm running down an alleyway, and as I'm running, I see a cop car come past kind of slow. I'm like, dang, man. So and I'm running. I keep running, but as I'm coming out of the alleyway, the cop is backing up. So he's back. We literally almost collide into each other. I almost ran literally right into the side of his car, you know. And so I stopped. They hopped out and they got me. You know, I surrendered. Whatever. I didn't even try to fight them. You know, and they cuffed me up, you know, behind my back, all crazy, and you know, they slammed me. Actually, they slammed me. First, they slammed me on the ground. I'm a 14-year-old kid, and when I was a kid, I was always smaller than the rest, you know what I'm saying? So even at 14, I was a stick, you know? So he literally slammed me down hard, like, because mind you, I had my hands behind my back, you know what I'm saying? I had my hands behind my back in the cuffs, and then he slammed me on the ground, picked me up and put me in the car. You know what I mean? And I'm 14, you know, and like, what's up with you, dog? I'm a kid. You a grown man slamming a kid on his chest with his hands behind his back. Like, you don't get no cool points for that in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? No cool points. So he tossed me in the back of the car, you know what I'm saying, and takes me back to the scene. And when we pull up to the scene, you know, we're sitting there. He gets out, goes talk to some other cops. So a cop is actually a very well-known cop in that town. His name is Officer Shofi. You know, he's retired now, but when I was a kid, he was notorious. They say he killed dudes. He hung people. He's known for he hung people in the police station. You know what I'm saying? There's dudes he hung. He killed guys by shooting them already. You know, so he's a very notorious cop. So Shofi, this punk ass cop, leans his head in the car. You know, and it's like, oh, so So he's like, I know that you can be a liar. I know that you're a lying piece of POS, you know, SHIT. I know you're a lying POS. So I'm like, why you gotta call me a POS for? And then he gets out and asks, why? Because that's what you are. You know what I'm saying? And then slams the door closed. I'm like, man, whatever, dude. So I got my hands behind my back and stuff, and I'm in there, and I'm like, man, this dude snitched on me, bro. This dude straight told on me, you know what I'm saying? And so they take us, you know, to the police station and stuff. They had us separated. You know, they kept us separated. And then while we're there at the police station, this fool, I think, kept singing, you know, like, we already are caught, me and you. Why you need to bring homeboy into it, my cousin? He didn't even stay with us, you know, he got out the car. So, you know, we're at the police station, and then, you know, the cops gather me and him up and take us to the juvenile facility. You know what I'm saying? So we're there. We're in the juvenile facility. You know, I walk in. You know what I'm saying? And I had no shirt on, because I didn't wear no shirt that day and shit like that. And this is my first time locked up, so, like, I'm really nervous. You know what I'm saying? I'm really nervous. And they're asking us our questions, you know, do you guys allergic to this and that, this and that. They're doing our intake, all right? And we go through this intake, you know, and it was actually really late at night when we got there. And we were the only two being booked in. So it didn't take as long, because I've heard notorious stories, and I have stories about when I went back there again, of taking 6, 8, 10, 12 hours to book us into these places. And while we're in these holding tanks, you know, there's fights, there's extortions, you know, because we're wearing, in juvenile, they let you wear your sneakers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a 14-year-old, you know, stick, you know, but I had heart, you know what I mean? And I came in with some real nice academics. I think they were called academics. Yeah, at the time, academics were real big. Sneaker academics, you know what I'm saying? They were blue and orange, you know what I mean? And they matched the uniform, blue and orange, because they gave us blue pants and orange top, you know? So I actually got into something over them shoes, which I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna come back on here and tell that story, but it's for another time. Today I just want to focus on my introduction and how my path of the revolving door started, you know, as a kid at 14. You know, so they booked me in and tossed me in this cell, you know. They tossed me in this cell. It's probably like, at this time, 1 o'clock in the morning, you know. They tossed me in this cell, the lights on. It's like the size of my bathroom, you know. And in juvenile, like adult, when you're in your cell, there's actually a toilet and a sink. In juvenile, there is no toilet and sink in your cell. You know what I mean? You have to actually literally come out of your cell to use the bathroom. And to do that, they have a little light switch. You flick it on, the light comes on. Once they finally notice you, it could take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 2 hours. You might not come out all night because they're lazy and they don't do their walks. Every 15 minutes, they're supposed to do a round, you know, but they don't always do that. You know what I'm saying? You got your lazy ones and you got your ones that just don't give a crap, you know? So yeah, they tossed me in the cell. It's really cold. You know, they gave me one skimpy little thin, paper thin blanket, you know, on a mat that was so thin I could have just slept on the cement. You know what I mean? That's literally how bad it was, you know? And they're doing this to kids daily now, today, 2020. We're in 2020 and they still have juveniles sleeping on mattresses this thin. You know, you could literally roll your mattress up like a fat blunt. You know, it'll come out to be something like like probably like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big, you know. It could be a little bit bigger, but it's not that big, you know. Like a foot across, rolled it up, you know what I mean? That's how thin and dingy and flimsy they were, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I lays down, I go to sleep, and I wake up the next day. I hear it, dum, 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 and that's the sound of the locks being unlocked, you know, the doors. So I hear my thing, pong. So I get up, didn't even make my bed. I wasn't aware that we had to make beds and stuff. I didn't make my bed, so I come out of my cell, and as I'm walking out, someone starts screaming at you back there, little skinny little white boy, get back in your cell. What's wrong with you? Get back in your room. You want EBT? You want EBT? And I'm like, EBT? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? They come two big 6'6", 6'5" dudes. You know, they come walking back, get into my face. You get in your room now. So they grab me, literally by my hair. They grabbed me by my hair and you know, tossed me back in the room head first. And I was just like, wow, you know, I didn't know what to do, what to think, you know, and I didn't know what to do, you know. So obviously I kept my mouth shut. I wasn't trying to get beat, because I heard stories. My friends that have come home from there told me stories about how they choke us. Like, they do this thing called restrain, right? Where they restrain you and they work your problems out on the floor. You know what I'm saying? If they're supposed to have techniques and tactics where they take you down without hurting you, but they don't. They'll pick you up and dump you. Like, suplex you, you know? 250-pound men suplexing a 14-year-old, not even 100 pounds soaking wet, you know what I mean? Knocking the wind out of me, breaking, you know, I've seen kids get broken elbows. They get slammed so hard on the floors that their elbow literally snaps, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they yelled at me and stuff and tossed me back in head first, you know, and if I have to guess, I'd say at least an hour went by before they finally came back. So this big, huge, fat, 300-pound dude, I'm not going to say his name. Actually, if I try to think, I don't even know if I remember his name. But I know, I'm not sure. But anyway, he opens the door, he's like, oh, so you ready to follow directions now? You ready to follow your staff's orders? And I'm like, yeah, I've been ready. I said, this is my first time. He's like, I ain't trying to hear it. I ain't trying to hear it. Starts screaming at me again. I'm like, yes, sir. So I go and I'm brushing my teeth, and then while I'm brushing my teeth, my pants were kind of sagging. Someone comes up behind me, grabs me by the back of my pants, and yanks straight up into the air, and literally lifts me up off of my feet. You know what I'm saying? It's holding me there. You will keep your pants up above your waist when you're here. Do you understand me? And, you know, I'm like, yes, sir. You know, I didn't know what the hell to think. I thought they were going to try to kill me, you know? And so I finally finish up in the bathroom, and then they bring me out and they have me sit at a desk in the corner. All new people have to go through what's called an orientation, you know, an orientation, and they like give you a packet and they make you watch some videos, and they give you like educational tests, see where your head's at, where your IQ's at, so they know what type of education to give you, which honestly is pointless, because everyone goes to the same classroom anyway. You know, you'll have classroom A, classroom B. They split everyone in half. Every day you could switch, jump back and forth. One day you over here with your homies over here. Next day y'all go over here and see her. Next day, you know what I mean? You can jump back and forth. They don't even really assign A or B. You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting in the desk in the corner, and I can look across the big day room, and I see the kid that I came with. And as I look to my right, who do I see? My cuz, big redhead, big dummy looking fool, man, looking over at me. I'm like, he's like, you know. So that's when I knew it clicked in my head. Homeboy told. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy told and dropped all kinds of tapes, you know? And yeah, man, so that was my first day actually my first experience with being locked up and stuff like that. You know, they took me in there and it was middle of the night, so I wake up the next day and I see my cousin, you know, and I know that I think they had us on that orientation, I think for 7 days. 7 days they had us on their orientation, you know, and in those 7 days, every day they come and pull you out and do, like I said, testing. They do a physical, they give you some shots and stuff like that. And, you know, after that is when you get released into the, I guess, you know, what they call as general populations, you know. And the place that I was in, it wasn't actually that big, but it was known for being violent. And it was known for having very corrupted staff members, you know. And this place was called YDC, York Detention Center, you know, or Youth Detention Center, whatever you want to call it. And this is actually where I had my first experience of being abused by staff members, and where I actually got jumped at for the very first time and got my sneakers taken. So tomorrow I'm gonna come back on here and tell y'all that story. My first conflict with staff and my first conflict with other residents, on how I got my sneakers taken and how I got them back. And how I also earned some respect of the staff members by going through what I went through with them, and I didn't break and I didn't bend. You know, they tried to break me, they tried to bend me, and they couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say I appreciate anybody who's tuning in. You know what I'm saying? This is my first video, so as the videos go on, you know, I'll get better and more comfortable, you know, in front of the camera and stuff like that. But I got a lot of good content for y'all, you know what I'm saying? I got some really good interviews with people that is gonna tell my story from their point of view and also tell their story. You know, I got some interviews with some staff members lined up that actually was there during the time I was there. And just a lot of really good content, a lot of really good war stories for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know how y'all like to hear those war stories. And I just want to say that nothing on this channel that is spoken on is for glorification purposes at all. You know, I have a really strong message behind my story. You know what I'm saying? I come from a very dark background, you know, and I just wanna spread awareness, you know, and I wanna teach people that if I can make it through what I made it through and come out to where I'm at today, then, you know, you can too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get the Instagram and stuff up and everything up to link to this account, and you guys can email me and direct message me and stuff like that. You know, any advice you guys might need, any type of questions you want answered, anything like that, let me know. My email is irap@gmail.com. That's I with a E, Y-E, like eyeball. So irap, tat, EYERAPEYETAT. irap@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? You guys can email me. Anyone who'd like to come on the show, you know, let me know. And we'll set something up. Like I said, this show is going to specifically be about the juvenile system. You know what I'm saying? Because our youth that is growing up inside is our future. You know what I mean? And there needs to be an awareness of how we're being treated as kids in there, you know, and the misconducts that are happening and taking place on a daily basis. You know, this didn't just happen with me. It didn't just start with me, and it's not going to end with me. You know, it's still happening today, and we need to speak. I want to be the voice for these people who want to speak. You know what I'm saying? And they can't. They have no voice to be heard, you know, and I have the platform to do it, so I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? You know, big ups, big salute to all the manitos out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what it is. Boom. You know, and like I said, I appreciate anyone tuning in. Stay tuned for some more really great content. You know, I got a lot of good stories for y'all, and I got a lot of good tutorial videos I'm gonna put up for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, until next time, you.